If you are sitting there waiting to figure out what you want to do in your career, like you are just looking for that lightning strike of inspiration that will tell you what you want to pursue, I have to tell you something. That moment isn't coming. It's not because you're doing something wrong, but it's just because that's not how careers are built. Like they are built inch by inch through a system of self-awareness and positioning and strategy. And in this episode, I'm going to share that system, the one that took me 4 career pivots to build, and the one I so desperately wish somebody had just handed me before I spent years trying to figure out the one thing that I wanted to do. So welcome to the very first solo episode of Good Job, the show designed to give you the tools, frameworks, and expert advice to build a happier and more fulfilling career in this ever chaotic world of work. I'm your host, Hannah Geft, and the creator behind Hannah Gets Hired. And my God, have I seen it all when it comes to careers. I have been on every side of the hiring table. I have been a clueless and lost job seeker. I've been a recruiter, a hiring manager, and now a career educator and business owner. And if there is one thing that I know, it's how it feels to be completely stuck. After all, I spent 4 years studying accounting in college and an entire year grinding to study for and pass my CPA exams, hours of prep time to land the prestigious job at Deloitte, only to quit after a year with no idea of where I wanted to go next. I actually remember the day I quit. I had a call with one of the partners to share the news that I had decided to move on. And I shit you not, he told me, a 22-year-old, by the way, that I was making a huge mistake, that I was just throwing away all of this hard work for a path that was not going to lead me anywhere. Well, that was 7 years ago, and I spent the next several years doing exactly what everyone tells you to do, desperately trying to figure out what I wanted to be and pick the path that I wanted to build a career around. And it took me 4 completely different career paths to realize there is no one thing I want to do forever. That is not how careers work. And yet here I am now doing work that I genuinely love. Like I am excited about it. I am curious to learn and improve, and I am financially rewarded by it. Like what? Because here's what I've learned. A fulfilling career isn't something you find, it's something you create. So today, I'm going to share the system that I wish I had, the one that will actually help you get your career shit together. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how. So let's get into it. So most career advice doles out silly generalities like follow your passions or play to your strengths. In short, figure out what you like or what you're good at and pick a path and just go after it. Which sounds reasonable enough, but it puts all the pressure on choosing. And so many people don't know what they're passionate about, and maybe they don't even know what their strengths are. So a Stanford researcher named John Crumboltz developed the argument that careers are not a result of perfect planning. They are the product of learning experiences, chance events, and your response to them. Not just to call it all luck, but he makes a very strong case for the power of planned happenstance, or staying open to unplanned opportunities that may come knocking. And because we are all about how-tos here, we can break this down into 3 phases. So I want you to think for a second about the last time that you wanted to find a new job. You probably went straight to LinkedIn and started browsing openings. But if you are starting from a place of career dissatisfaction, the chance that you are just going to stumble upon the perfect role in that scroll, slim to none. As I always like to remind people, applying to jobs is the very last step in making a career change. We always have to start by looking inwards. There are so many different amazing career frameworks to support this, but I have included a couple of my favorites in this overall system. One is Ikigai, and it's derived from the Japanese concept meaning reason for being. And the westernized version holds that career fulfillment can be found at the intersection of 4 things: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. And this framework is so much richer when you go a little bit deeper than just like a high-level brainstorm. So we're putting pen to paper. So you can start by making 4 different columns and listing all of those out, and then focus in on where the columns overlap. So first is what you love. And we want to hone in on the work that genuinely gives you energy, makes you lose track of time, not the work that is completely draining. For me, this includes things like sharing ideas and telling stories, frameworks and systems thinking. Like, I really love logic and puzzles, career strategy, obviously, design, helping people think through their potential. I love building things. I love like starting from scratch and bringing something to life. Art, fashion, like anything kind of within the creative realm, I really grasp onto. Then we have what you're good at, which is a combination of your natural talents and the skills that you have honed with practice. So think of things like what people repeatedly come to you for help for, what strengths show up in your performance reviews or your feedback. In my case, this is things like synthesizing complex information into clear ideas, catching attention, creating content, being on camera, public speaking. I know a lot about hiring dynamics and hiring signals, and I could put so much more: marketing, accounting, like skills I've left behind in my past lives. And then we have what the world needs. So the real challenges people in your industry are facing and will continue to face. So what currently frustrates you about where you work? Like, what do you wish worked better? What is a problem that keeps coming up? Things you keep hearing people complaining about. When I filled this out, I thought about the need for nuanced career advice, like different tools to help you in the job search. People need help landing new jobs. People overwhelmingly want the accountability to make progress in their career. They want the empowerment to go after what fulfills them, and they need so much help in navigating an uncertain job market. And lastly, our jobs are not fulfilling if we can't get paid for them. So make a column of what you can get paid for. The areas the market places value on, like what is every job in your field asking for? In my case, this is things like content creation, brand partnerships, coaching, consulting, digital products, public speaking, job seeker marketing, accounting even. And the biggest areas of potential in your career exist in the overlap. So use AI to augment and pull out the insights to identify the gaps that you're not thinking of. So I created an accompanying 15 frameworks workbook to go with this whole social media series and video. And this one goes so much deeper into the prompts to help you catch those blind spots and do this like full intersection analysis. Now, the catch to career reflection is it's not just like one and done and you have all the answers. There are so many different frameworks out there because there are so many different ways to go about it, and all of them are valuable in their own way. Career reflection is really about gathering data. Like, think of your career like your best friend. I know it's not, but just bear with me. At one point, the two of you didn't really know each other. Like maybe there was a little bit of a vibe, but you were strangers. And over the years, you've spent lots of time together. You have gotten to know each other. Maybe so well that sometimes you feel like you know what she needs even before she does. By doing exercises like these, we are building a relationship with our professional selves. What makes us tick? What we respond to? What ignites that curiosity? What fuels that fire, and what makes us unbelievably stressed. And the more information we have, the easier of a time we will have making decisions that we know will lead us to more resonant places. I've also included a couple other frameworks in this workbook, including Odyssey planning, plus a framework to make career decisions that you won't regret. You would be shocked at how much motivation and excitement cracks open when you start getting clarity about what you want to go after. Like, I remember when I finally started listening to that inner voice telling me I wanted to do something in my career that was more creative. And as soon as I followed it, it was like opening this waterfall of curiosity and desire to learn. Like, I had never felt that related to anything work-wise before. But clarity can only take you so far if nobody knows about it or knows what you're good at. So the pie theory of success holds that your performance at work only accounts for 10% of your career advancement. The remaining 90%, that comes from a combination of your image, or what people perceive you to be good at, and your exposure, or who knows about what you can do. Let's break this down, starting with your image. Maybe I am or am not the first person to have said this to you, but your personal brand exists, whether you are doing anything about it or not. If you are not putting effort into it, it's just being defined by whatever people already know about you and your work. So building an intentional personal brand, one that communicates the message you want people to hear about what you can do, has 3 different parts. We start by defining what we want this personal brand to say about you. And the exercise in the workbook will help you workshop this out, but it's a combination of your skills, the things that you've learned throughout your career, your strengths, strengths or those more innate things that people come to you for, and then your passions and your values, like the things you actually care about in the world. And the second part of a strong personal brand is about positioning your background against the opportunities that you want. So think about it like this. If you're really good at marketing, but you want to move into sales, a personal brand centered in all of your marketing skills isn't going to convince anyone in sales to hire you. So we start defining your positioning by identifying your target audience. I think of these as like the gatekeepers to the opportunities you want. And we want to understand their goals and challenges, the things that keep them up at night, the problems they have that they would hire somebody or pay somebody to help them solve. And then you discuss your background and you message your personal brand in a way that addresses those goals and challenges. And the third part of building a strong personal brand is building visibility publicly by sharing examples that portray that messaging and positioning. There's a content strategy I always come back to, but you can break the content you post online into 3 buckets. 50% of the content should be content that shows your core competencies, like really demonstrates what you know how to do. Still aligned with that positioning, of course. 30% of your content is related to your industry. It's a way to show your values. It's to advocate for either causes or strategies or whatever it is you believe in. And then 20% is just to build connection and show that you're human. And the goal with all of this is to increase your surface area. Like when people know about who you are and what you do, you have to do so much less work to land new opportunities. And then the last thing I want to mention, which is also included in the accompanying workbooks, is this concept of a career moat. Like you will have so much more leverage going after opportunities when you go where your background is an advantage and you pursue skills that will help you deepen that moat. Now, there is so much more on all of these strategies in the workbook. Be sure you download it. If you were to tackle any one section of the 15 frameworks, let it be these ones. They're so good. They're so useful. They're so impactful. You can start applying them today. Okay, let's recap. You know yourself a little bit better. You know what you can offer, and you know how to present that in a refined and aligned message. Now we're going to get really strategic, because where I see most people getting tripped up is that they're using an outdated career playbook that doesn't really lead anywhere. Spray and pray job applications, cold applying, and just waiting to be noticed simply won't work. The new strategies that will actually help you get hired or find opportunities are what I like to call an embedded job search. Before we get into it, there's something that I want you to understand. If you are just applying for jobs and waiting for a callback, you are being buried. Why? Well, here's what happened. We had this post-COVID hiring boom until the economy halted and companies realized that they had overhired and they dove headfirst into mass layoffs. The job market was completely flooded with incredibly qualified talent, and slashed recruiting teams from all this economic instability were left scrambling, trying to manage it all. And then generative AI came out and it handed candidates the tools to spam thousands of applications overnight. So now you've got AI writing job applications, every application getting thousands of applicants, AI screening them, and somewhere in the middle of all of that chaos, you are left hoping that every application you send off into the ether, hopefully, maybe, please gets a pair of human eyeballs on it for at least a couple seconds. The embedded job search is a better way. The goal is to become a known entity to your dream opportunities by borrowing a strategy out of an executive recruiter's playbook called target listing. So the idea is that we're going to use industry insights and hiring signals to build a target list of your most exciting companies that are showing signs of needing to hire soon, or maybe they're already hiring. And then you map your path in by identifying what I like to think of as the hiring gatekeepers. So if they were to open up an opportunity that perfectly matched what you were looking for, who would be in charge of that? This could be recruiters, HR, hiring managers, peers who may be involved in the job search. And then we want to build relationships in phases. We start with making the initial touch point. Maybe it's a comment on a post or a DM just to say you admire their work. Deepening the relationship over time, finding ways to add value, and looking for opportunities to communicate all that personal brand positioning that we worked on. And by doing this over time, yes, it takes time and yes, it takes effort, but you become a known entity so that when they open up opportunities, you are the first one that comes to mind. This is actually the same strategy that my fiance used to land his current job, which is the most perfect fit for his background in consulting and tech strategy. So just to paint you a picture, he was pivoting out of tech and looking to get involved in AI when it was first getting all the hype. He did some self-learning, he enrolled in an educational program, and started working on finding clients and building his own business. Now, as he was doing this, he realized that that educational company was actually one of the more prominent players in the space, and he was really excited about the work that they were doing. So he started building relationships. He got to know the founders. He got to know the people that were closest aligned to the work that he was interested in doing. And he got to know their needs and looked for small ways to help. He spoke on one of their panels. He led a workshop with them. He published some LinkedIn posts on their behalf, all the while sharing public evidence of what he knew how to do. Eventually, he was able to join them for a 6-month contract, during which time he pitched all the value that bringing him on for a full-time role could deliver. And now he leads a completely new business unit for them that was just an idea at the time they first met. And look, there is so much more I could say here. There's interview prep, there's networking, there's job fit, there's nailing your first 90 days. But I put all of that and more into the frameworks roundup that is accompanying this video. It's called the 15 Days of Frameworks to Get Your Career Shit Together. It literally goes beginning to end. There's a framework in there for everybody, no matter what kind of career figuring it out stage you're at. Link is in the description, so go grab it if you want it. Did I mention it's free? Okay, whew. That was a lot. I am honestly so excited for YouTube, for you being here. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. You're obviously motivated to go after something better in your career. And I feel like we're at this really exciting, interesting career time where so much possibility is opening up. So if you got something from this video, if you have questions, if you have feedback, let me know in the comments. Or if there's career advice that you feel like you need help with or are stuck on, I would love to hear about that too. Obviously, subscribe if you would like more videos like this. It'll help me create the time and space to share more and research more and hopefully get some cool people on here for interviews. But either way, thank you for being here. You are doing a good job, and I'll see you next time.